Hello, everybody. Welcome to this Rod interviews, but in reverse. I am Rob from English with Rob. And today, myself and Peter, who you can see below, are going to interview Rod. We're turning the tables back on him, and we're going to find out a bit more about your teacher and what he likes, what he's into, what inspires him. So we're going to ask him a couple of questions each, and I'll hand over to Peter, who is also a British English teacher, but he's a little closer to Rod because he's actually in Brazil right now.
Yeah, that's right. A bit close, although Brazil is very big, so it's still pretty far away. But yeah. No, definitely. So let's go. Right then, Rod, my friend.
Yes, sir.
I want to start with a big question. So what made you want to teach English?
Well, first of all, I have to bring once again, I saw Madonna on TV and I went to school to learn English. I fell in love with the English language and I thought that because of my disability, it would be something that I could do sitting. English basically became my second language because I speak English every day, as you both know. It became my career. What made me become a teacher was the piano theory. Do you know the piano theory? If you want to be a pianist or if you want to be a piano player, that's your choice. I started by being a piano player when I started studying English. And then I decided to be a pianist, like I decided to become a teacher. So I knew that I needed to study more and more and more to become a pianist. And today I am a pianist of English for 26 years almost.
Wow, there we have it.
Yeah,
Oh,
I've never heard that. A piano player or a pianist. You have to be very careful with your pronunciation there with pianist.
Yeah.
Everybody's been okay so far. Yeah. So okay, so a piano player, it's like you can do it, but you're not a master. But if you're a pianist, then you have mastered it. You can teach other people, and that's where you are at with English now, Rod. Okay.
Yes.
I don't know how you feel about this. If I could open the door into your life a bit more, and you can,
of course.
But you have a son, right?
I have two kids.
You have two kids.
Yeah.
Okay. And what ages are they?
14 and 5.
Okay. And how are they? Are they taking on your love of English? Are you teaching them directly? What is the dynamic in the house with English and your kids?
The teenager is a teenager, as you know. He tells me that he doesn't need to learn English because I speak English. And his mother speaks English as well. My wife is also an English teacher. But he goes to school when he has classes with my wife. My wife is still teaching him. He's getting older. He meets exchange students and he tries to translate when they come so we can see some reactions from him. But he turns to me and he tells me, "Oh, I understand everything you say and I don't need to learn English because you can speak for me." And I say, "Okay, but when you travel, you're going to travel by yourself, not with me, you know?"
Yeah.
And then
so you say to him, so do you want me to be there with you on the beach next to all these bikini babes? You know, in America or in Europe,
and maybe
English
now and maybe translate. Now he wants to kiss you. Do you mind? No, I'm not going to do this. No, I'm not going to do this. Yeah, it's the environment of my house, you know, because he sees me teaching every day, and I think it's inevitable. It's something that it's in my blood, and I think I can pass it on to them. I don't know. And the younger one goes like osmosis, you know, like he learns words and say things.
Because you speak English in the house and he picks up some English words. Or you don't speak English at home.
You guys know that I am very loud because I have to project my voice. So they can hear me speaking English the whole day long in my office.
Right.
You know,
from the lessons online.
It grows on them. And also my wife is an English teacher. So the whole time they can see me. If I need to tell something exclusively to my wife, I tell her in English, so they don't understand maybe in Portuguese, so they know that the full environment is in English most of the time.
But for
Yeah.
that, you need them to not learn English because
Yeah,
then you
yeah,
can't have your secrets.
yeah, yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
No, I don't have many secrets, but it
Well,
was
from the kids we
yeah,
have
yeah,
not secrets,
yeah,
but I don't know,
yeah.
Adult
plans
talk.
or
Dad, how
adult
was
talk.
I born? Then you run away from that question. Yeah.
That's cool.
Okay, thanks for
Right.
that insight.
Thank you.
I've got a question for you, Rod.
Of course.
Um, so you're an English teacher,
Hmm.
but what do you like to do in your spare time when you're not teaching? What is it you like to do?
Reading, making friends, nurturing my friendships. When I have some free time, because I crave silence now that I have a teenager and a 5-year-old at home, I crave silence. And when I have
Yeah.
silence and when I see the content of those people that I like you, like Rob, I take like 5 minutes of my time and send hearts and like. I think it's important, because we are born alone and we die alone. But while we are on this earth and on this planet, we have to bring our friends together. Because for me, friendship is the family next in line. When I have time, I watch series on TV, I listen to music, I read a lot. I like to learn. I learn from my students every day. Everything that I see on social media, I try to see the good side of things. I talked about it with Rob some time ago. When we are on TikTok, there are the funny stuff and there are also the cultural stuff. Like the content that you do, for example, on TikTok is amazing because people, when they are watching, they forget their daily lives and everything else. So it's really important. Like Rob and I, we do some kind of work in the sense of teaching a language. So it's a little bit more different. But when we can bring together your content and our content, I think TikTok would be amazing.
Yeah. No, wicked. No, thanks for sharing.
Yeah. You're welcome.
So something that
Hmm.
I always want to ask people like yourself who have learned
Hmm.
English
Hmm.
to a level
Hmm.
where you can teach it as a non-native English teacher. And
Yes.
it's my
Yeah.
personal belief that I mean, I don't want to do myself out of a job,
Hmm.
but it's better. There is a definite benefit for people to learn English from non-native English speakers who have learned English
Hmm.
themselves,
Yeah.
because
Yeah.
I don't know how I learned English. I was a
Hmm.
baby and then
Yeah.
I could speak English.
Yeah.
Um, but you have consciously done it. You've consciously learned English
Hmm.
Mm.
um, from nothing, from the age of eight, was it, when you first saw that
Yeah,
Madonna
yeah.
video?
I was very young, but when I started speaking, I was 8 years old. Yeah.
So, how did you do it? Basically,
Well, I
what
don't
is the?
know.
It's the.
Uh,
I know it's a really difficult question, but what methods have you
mhm.
found the best for
Well,
learning, retaining
mhm.
vocabulary, grammar? Yeah.
Well, let me tell you. We are 4 years apart from each other, and
I'm
I am a
younger.
carbon dating person in terms of learning English. So I started learning English the early 80s, and I finished the whole course in the beginning of the 90s.
So, what
And
apps did you use in the early 80s?
there
What apps
were
were you
no
using?
apps. There were no apps.
Yeah.
I know
Yeah.
this is the amazing thing, right? There's not even. It was probably difficult even to find English language materials
Yeah,
in
you had
Brazil.
you had to send a letter
Yeah.
and wait for 15 days for the letters to come back with some kind of response. And if I wanted to pick up the lyric from a song, I don't have Google like for five
Mhm.
seconds I can pull up the lyrics. No, I didn't have. I would have to glue my ear to the speaker and try to get the sentence, for
Yeah.
yesterday. I remember that, you know. There were no subtitles. I remember that I had to use an X-ray an X-ray tape. You know, you cut the X-ray with a pair of scissors, and I would put in front of the subtitles in VHS tapes to watch movies without subtitles, to practice listening, you know.
Oh
Uh-huh.
wow.
So this was crazy. It wasn't as easy as it is today. We have Hello Talk that we can talk to people everywhere in the world. You know that. You're a teacher
Mm.
there as well. So it was crazy, you know. I am a carbon dating person studying English. So my students tell me, oh, I won't learn the language. It's too hard. And I start telling them this way I motivate them to keep going because it's so much easier now with
Hmm.
the social media, with WhatsApp, iMessage, whatever it is, you know. So
Just anything. You can find anything in
yeah,
English, probably with subtitles that you're
yeah.
interested in. If you're interested in football, you
hmm
can find something. If you're interested in, I don't
And
know,
if you allow me
tagging.
to, and if you allow me to add only one thing, there was a teacher of mine during my master's degree who told me, if you study it every day, you get better every day. So to learn a language is consistency. I can tell you a story, a very brief story about Peter. Peter speaks Portuguese better than myself, and he speaks with
What?
the accent from the state where he lives, you know. So he not only speaks Portuguese very well and understands everything and goes to meetings and understands jokes and everything, but he also speaks Portuguese with the accent from Recife or from Petrolina where he lives now, you know. So that's amazing. If you want, you can do it.
Yeah.
That's
Yeah.
what I say, you know.
There's definitely a sense of you have to want it as well, you know.
Yeah, yeah,
Rather than just doing it for the sake of it. I think you got to have it's got
yeah,
to be a reason behind
yeah.
putting effort behind something. I think that also
If
is also a
like
big
yeah,
driving force.
hmm I
Um,
agree.
yeah.
Like if Rob calls me and say, "Let's discuss the meaning of the word eventually," we spend 3 hours. But if you invite me
Yeah.
to go to the gym, I say, "Oh, let me think about it." You know. So
Yeah.
when you do what you want to do, you have time. When you don't want to do it, you never find time. You know.
Yeah.
That's my answer.
Oh,
Yeah.
cool. Wicked.
And
Um,
Now,
Rod,
okay.
so you what
Hmm.
is your favorite thing about teaching English to other people? Is there something that you enjoy the most about
hmm.
teaching English to new and
Yes.
existing students?
So, to see that they learn when their eyes are shining.
Yeah.
That's the most important thing for me. When you explain something that they want to know, the difference between like make a presentation and do a presentation, and I can explain that to them and they go, wow, and then you see their eyes shining, you know, that's
Yeah.
priceless. That's priceless.
for me, it's when you've taught somebody something, a new word, or
Mm-hmm.
you've fixed a grammar mistake that they make all the
Yeah.
time. And then later in that lesson, or maybe in the lesson next week or a few weeks later, you hear
Mm-hmm.
what you taught them coming back
Yeah.
at you out
That's
of
it.
them. I
That's
find
it.
that very, very satisfying as a teacher.
That's it. I agree.
Yeah.
100%. 100%. Not only English, but any language opens doors. Like Peter is here now speaking Portuguese. You were in Germany speaking German.
Speaking some
Uh,
German. Mm.
some German, all right. And also, we learn how to be in other person's shoes when we are learning a second language. We know how hard it is and how we work our asses off to do that. I think that's key to learning a language, you know, and to teach a student. I think that's the most important thing. I've been there once already.
Putting yourself
Sure.
in their shoes, like
Yeah.
really, really embracing the culture as well,
Yeah,
right?
yeah, yeah, yeah. Yeah,
Um,
because a language is not only learning the words and vocabulary and slang and everything, is also the culture.
yeah.
I call it a culture shock. You might have had a huge culture shock when you came to Brazil as well, because it was very different. People are very touchy in Brazil. You learn that you can hug people, that you can kiss people on the cheeks. Very complicated and tricky. I might
Yeah,
find.
definitely.
Yeah,
Yeah. No, big culture shock. Absolutely. Yeah.
yeah.
I don't know if this question is relevant, but it's something that I
Okay.
struggle with.
Mm.
Do you teach English in the classroom or just online now?
In a classroom and online.
Okay. And what do you do if you find it, because it's very, my experience, it's very different if a student has motivation and if a student doesn't have motivation, if they don't want to be there learning English. So what do you do in that case if you have a student who is unmotivated? Do you have any tips for teachers in inspiring someone to want to learn English?
You have
Yeah.
to find some kind of subject that the student likes and talk to them about that in English.
Yeah.
Once I was talking to a student about the different kinds of frogs that we have in Brazil. And that was the best class that he could have or watch.
Yeah. He was a frog lover.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Because he liked the small animals and he liked everything, and we had a very good conversation, you know.
Yeah.
You made it
Yeah.
interesting for
Like,
him.
let's suppose that Peter comes to Brazil for the first time and I'm there to help him. I'm going to talk to him about gym because he likes that, and he
Oh, okay.
would talk about it for hours on end, you know. So
Yeah, boys, let's get a pump up.
yeah, exactly. You know, you just
Yeah,
have to
no.
bring the student to your direction, you know.
Yeah,
What do
yeah,
you like? Like for me, you're fascinating because you are a musician as well, you know. So I would learn so much if I was studying with you. So you have to learn what the student likes. That's
yeah.
key. And put your teaching inside of that box.
Mm-hmm.
Okay,
Mm.
Rod.
Yeah.
If you was to choose anywhere in the world to live, where would it be and why?
I don't know, but I wish I could live in London for some time.
Yeah?
Yeah. I've been to the States many times. Not many times, 6 times, 7 times. But I wish I could live in London now because I have so many friends from England now that I wish I could meet them in person. And maybe that's why. Visit some other cities in Europe as well. So
Yeah, cool.
that
No, fantastic. That's
that would
cool.
be. I want my children to have a different kind of experience, you know, because
Yeah.
they think that my country town is their oyster, but there's much more than Brazil for them to visit and to get to know about,
Mm-hmm.
you know. So
Especially if they have English, it makes it
yeah,
all a
yeah,
lot
yeah,
easier
yeah,
too.
yeah, yeah. Yeah.
Definitely, yeah.
But unfortunately, Rob, I think that's something that Peter will agree with me. People in Brazil, not most of them, but a great number of people, they think that English is something that you need to learn just for your job. You know, that's something that's not necessary. I don't think you see the same mindset, Peter, around you, but that's what most of the people think. I have to learn English because I need to pass a test. I need to learn English
Mm,
because I'm gonna travel, touristically speaking, and
okay.
that's the kind of thing that some people, at least around me, think you're not going to use it to open doors. You're going to use it just for determined situations that you're going to face.
So a lot of people come for a short-term help,
Yeah,
sort of, not thinking of
yeah. Oh, I
the
need you for
longevity.
3 months because I'm going to travel to London, and I
Mm.
need you for 3 months, you know.
Yeah,
So,
yeah, yeah. No, that's interesting.
yeah.
Yeah, okay. I don't know how if this is going to get personal, but I always when I see these things, I want to know. It's nothing to do with English teaching,
Don't worry.
but you have a tattoo here, right, Rod?
I have
Hey,
5 tattoos.
5. Okay, what
wow.
tattoos do you have if it's not too personal?
No, I have my parents' name here. I have my oldest son name here, and some Chinese symbols where we have written.
Don't don't show us the last tattoo. No, I'm joking. Yeah, be like, hold on,
I,
boys.
I got you. I got you. It's written strength, light, and peace. Here I have the name of my other son. I have my children's faces in each arm of mine. My
Ah,
Oh, nice.
wife's name here behind my neck, and also only that. I want Madonna's autograph, but my wife doesn't allow me. So yeah.
oh. Uh,
Fair enough.
yeah, how would that be? Would I let my wife get a tattoo of a signature of a guy she likes? I think so. Yeah.
But she knows that I'll never meet Madonna, man. She knows that I'll never meet Madonna. So
Yeah.
you know,
Well, make sure you leave some room for a
yeah.
tattoo of my face.
No,
So
of course,
Yeah.
of course. Only if you give me an
Yeah.
autograph, and then I do it. Okay.
yeah, sure.
So
So there we have it, guys. Our little interview with Rod. Usually Rod's the man in the seat doing the interviews, but today, like he said, the tables have turned, and myself and Rob have done this cool little interview with Rod, and
yeah.
hopefully you've got an idea of a bit more about Rod and what he does and what he likes. And I've just got one last question to finish off,
Yes.
and that's Rod, if you were to give somebody just one tip, and that's somebody who's interested in becoming an English teacher, what tip would you give them?
Be the best teacher that you can be.
Be the best teacher that you can be. Fantastic.
That is,
Awesome.
yeah, absolutely
And
outstanding
be
advice.
patient. And be patient.
And be
Second
patient.
of all, you know, second of all. And to wrap it up, I would like to say thank you to you guys. I invited two of my dearest friends to do this with me, and it was amazing. I invited people that I really trust to do this. Thank you, Pete. I know that you're really busy. Thank you, Rob. I know that you're really busy, but you're
No
always
worries.
with me there doing the things. I think that's what friends are for. And you are my friends, and whatever you need me for, I'm gonna be here for you. Always.
Thank you,
Likewise.
Thank you
Rod.
so much.
Likewise. Thank you.
Bye
Awesome.
bye. Thank you.
See
Okay.
you later.
Bye.
Thank
See you
you.
later.
See you.
Hello, it's Rod's friend here, Gino from Real Everyday English. Sorry for interrupting your video. I just want to make a quick recommendation that you subscribe to Rodrigo's channel. He's an amazing guy, he's so humble, he's so dedicated, and he creates absolutely fantastic content. See you people soon. Bye bye. God bless.